Welcome to Raising Independent Thinkers. This show is a space for families who are homeschooling or thinking about homeschooling. Welcome to Raising Independent Thinkers. Federal and state this show is a space for families and most importantly, this show is a platform where families can inspire one another on how to raise independent thinkers. I'm your host, Bathsheba Omane, Montessori educator, homeschooling consultant, owner of Homeschool Guide LLC, and mother of two. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. Hope you all are doing well. Akeem and I are live for the first time on YouTube, and please bear with us because we're in an called StreamYard. I'm hearing some echoing, but I will try to talk through it.
It'll be fine. On my side, I'm not getting any echo. So
okay.
I don't think anybody else is. I think what it is because I'm going through StreamYard and you're on Blog Talk at the same time, you're getting two audio sources coming at you.
Okay.
I was going to tell you to connect your cell phone and just mute one or the other thing, but don't worry about it. If you can bear with it, we'll be fine.
Okay, I'll try. So hopefully everyone out there had a good week. My week has been good. It's been blessed. We had a few sunny days here in North Carolina, and it got me excited. How was your week, Akeem?
My week was fine. It was great. No complaints.
Okay. So I have been talking about the book that you actually recommended called 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro by J.A. Rogers. And I started reading about ancient civilizations.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to Akeem about this earlier, but I started feeling a little bit overwhelmed with all the information. And I just started to realize that there's so much history that I wasn't taught. And although I don't want to make excuses, I felt that I wasn't 100% confident about teaching it this evening. So I thought I would talk about self-confidence instead and how important that is. And that having that skill plays a big role on how we teach our children and how we navigate life in general. So I just played a TED Talk by the name of The Skill of Self-Confidence. And the speaker was Dr. Evan Joseph. And I thought he made some really good points that I just wanted to discuss. I see you have up there the book, Akeem.
Yeah. Yeah, I put the book up there for you. I don't know which one which number you're gonna go to.
Well, I was gonna talk about ancient civilization. It's cool that you put that up.
That would be on, what was it about? Ancient Civilizations is right there.
Yeah, I was going to talk about it,
mm-hmm.
But then I thought about talking about confidence. I guess we could.
Yeah, you talk about the confidence first because that's what probably, you know when you called me up and you were
what I need to talk about. Yeah,
saying some things. I can't do this, and that. When anyone calls me and they want my assistance, and I'm not, I don't know how to say this. How do I say this? I don't
say it.
Just because you and I engage, I don't treat you any different because when you say you can't, that's the barrier. You creating that wall for yourself. You know, it's not about what you can't do. It's just knowing the process so you can do it. And anybody can do anything they want. But if you have that word come out, I can't do it, I'm not good, you're speaking that into existence. You're making that, you're creating that reality for yourself. And you have to realize that that's the reality you're creating. It's not the material that's hard. It's not the task that's hard. It's not life that's hard. It's your thoughts about those things that's hard, that you're making hard. You create your own heaven and your own hell. And I'm very serious. I cannot hear. When I hear it, it's very irritating to hear that when people say that. They come, oh, I can't. And then when I try to explain them, well, the only reason why you can is because you said you can't. Remember, we have dominion. We're supposed to have dominion over all things. And that's not being the God that you were created to be. And that is actually the actual sin that the Bible is talking about. Sin is not all of these little things that we do, what we call bad against people or against ourselves. It's when the negative self-doubt, the negative talk that you speak on yourself, because we weren't created not to be able to do anything. We were created to do all things. So that's what led into this.
I told you earlier that I appreciate you telling me that. And I know I needed to hear that in order to continue.
Right.
Because I wasn't sure what to talk about tonight. And when you talked to me, I figured, let me go ahead and talk about confidence.
Right.
So one of the
is the echo kind of irritating you right now? Is that echo coming back at you?
A little bit, but I'm gonna try to ignore it.
Okay, because over here it's fine. Oh, if the echo.
Okay, and I'm hoping that listeners don't hear the echo.
Well, we could disconnect Blog Talk and just stay on the live stream on YouTube.
Okay.
If you want to do that.
Okay.
And then I could upload the show onto that later because you can't really. I know how echo is when you can't concentrate.
Yeah, it's a little hard to concentrate. So can I go ahead and
end that
Blog Talk?
Yeah, end that.
Okay. And then, just end the episode, right?
Right, and I'll just upload it. We'll just do it here. Because actually, mostly everybody's on live right now.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, that's so much better.
And your voice sounds better. Look at that.
Okay. Can you hear me better?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That sounds so much better. So one of the points that he was talking about was repetition. And I know that's what we need in order to be confident, just being able to practice doing something over and over again. And I know for myself, over the weekend, we were talking about playing instruments. And I used to play the piano when I was younger. And, I learned the notes first and then the chords. And we were talking about that because you're learning how to play the guitar. So just practicing, I know for me, practicing really helps me be confident. In what I'm doing. And even teaching, I know for me, when I started teaching adults, it's a lot different than teaching children. And at first, I thought I just wasn't sure if I could do it. And I think even some days I still feel a little bit nervous, but I see like as I'm practicing more and more, I'm getting a lot better and I'm becoming more confident.
Yeah. Practice is what's going to get you where you need to be. If you don't practice, and practice is what you need to unprogram yourself from all of the negative self-talk. Because one of the things Well, our parents did, and we continue to do. We follow the footsteps of our parents. Is especially if you of color in this country, we are very cautious with our children, and we tell them what they can't do. Don't do this because of that. Don't do this because of that. But other groups of people are not having that same conversation with their children. They're telling them, "Hey, you can be this." Even in the religion in church, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at a Jesus that's white, right? And that looks like them, that's the savior of the world. Whereas we're looking at some white deity as the savior, and we asking ourselves where we fit in. So at an early age, we're taught not to be confident in ourselves, that we're limited in what we can do in this society. You can't behave a certain way because they're going to treat you different from. There's so many limiting things, and we have to get away from that. We have to ignore all of those things that they have said we can't do because we can. And we have to stop looking at our skin as a hindrance to our progress. And because we look at our skin as a hindrance, we look at each other as a people as a hindrance. We have all of these negative self-talk. I even, as much as positive I talk, I still got some of that ingrained programming in me.
Right. Me too. Yeah. And just I sometimes think about the amount of times that I quit something, when I didn't have to. And there's a lot of times in life where we just want to give up. Like me raising a child that had special needs as a single mother was not easy. But I felt like I took one day at a time and I did the best that I could. But there were some days that, I felt like I wish somebody else would take over. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And at work, I've given up on jobs, I've given up on relationships. And I think we tend to quit easily.
Why do you think you give up? What is the reasoning? You have to find out the why.
I think the reason is not wanting to go through the process, because I think in order to master anything, we have to go through a process. So I think when we
failure,
the process of failure, right?
Nobody wants to fail. Everybody wants to succeed, but in success and failure go together.
Right. And it's so funny. It's funny because I was just telling an adult learner, a student last week about she was ready to quit, and I was just talking to her about not quitting. And it's easy for us to tell somebody else, but we need to tell ourselves that every single day, I think. Yeah, I mean, she's like 80% almost finishing up the course. And she was just ready to quit.
Almost done, ready to quit, come that far,
And we do that a lot. We do that a lot in relationships. We do,
self-confidence.
And
not wanting to go through the pain of failure.
Right.
That reminds me of a scripture where they saw Christ coming walking on water, and Peter said he wanted to do the same thing. And he said, "Come." So he went out, he started to walk, and then he looked at the storm, which is in this scenario, what we're talking about, the difficult part. And he got afraid and he started to sink. That's like what we do in life. We see the problems of what, and a lot of our problems are anticipated problems, expectations. Oh, I think they're doing this. They're going to do this to me, like, if you want to talk about relationships, we look for things to make a problem. So we say, oh, I knew it. So that you can have that excuse to end it all.
Right.
And go on to something else and and all you're going to do is go somewhere else and do the same thing all over again.
Right.
Next, you a bunch of relationships down and you're still looking for what you say you want.
Right.
But do you really want it? Because if you really want something, you work through it. You work through the process, and you deal with the difficult times. And you say this, you can't have conditions on it. You can't have conditions on it, because if you have conditions, you're not going to get through it.
Yeah. If you have conditions, I feel like you're just waiting for something to happen,
Yeah.
But and I hear a lot of parents say they don't know if they have what it takes to teach their own children, with homeschooling.
What do you mean by they have it? They're teaching them whether
Yeah. I mean, we have the natural ability to teach our own child. And sometimes we don't get it right, but that's the learning. That's a learning experience.
It's like we can't get it right. It's right by whose standards? Who's creating this right and wrong? Most of our lives, we're living right and wrong based on what somebody else said is right and wrong, not what we know to be right and wrong within ourselves. We're not living authentically through our own experience. We're living ourselves through someone else's experience that says that's right, that's wrong. Right? So that's where people are having problems, not looking for themselves for answers, and they're looking for everyone else to tell them what's right and wrong. We'll go and ask people for advice, which is good to get, wise counsel, but you have to remember that person's perception is from their own experiences that might not exactly be like yours.
Right. Well, I was just saying, like, sometimes we do make mistakes when we're teaching something. Like, even teachers make mistakes.
Right.
We might make mistakes and we learn from those mistakes. But yeah, I was thinking about the definition of confidence, and it said it was a feeling of trust in one's abilities, qualities, and judgment. So I thought about that, and that word trust.
Right.
And I think it's saying that we must trust ourselves. In order to be confident, we must trust ourselves.
The number one person you need to be trusting is yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trust that you can do it.
Yeah. So sometimes when we don't feel confident, that means that we're not trusting ourselves.
No.
And I liked what he said when he said, if you don't believe in yourself, then no one else will.
Absolutely.
And it's so true.
Absolutely. If you don't, who's going to have confidence in you if you don't have confidence in yourself? And lack of self-confidence is very obvious. That's the difference between some people getting a job and not getting a job.
Right. That's
you
true.
See? I mean, I've gotten jobs. I don't expect people to live the path that I went on. I didn't finish high school. I went and got a GED. But I ended up working on Wall Street. Why? Because I had confidence. When I was asked, did I know how to get to World Trade Center? I didn't say, oh, no, I never been there. I didn't say any lack of self-confidence statements. I said, hey, listen, I'll find out how to get there. No problem. Now, I was wearing everybody. It was 2 or 3 other guys standing there next to me filling out an application. And they were all dressed to get a job. And I was dressed in a white dress shirt and some lime green stonewashed jeans. That was the thing back then in the 80s, late 80s. And he looks to me and asks me, did I want to go? Right? I don't know what he saw in me at that point, but because I didn't know he was asking me, because they were pointing at me. They said, he's talking to you. I said, oh, okay. Well, yeah, I can get to the World Trade Center. I'll make it there. I'll figure it out. And gave me who to see and all, and that's all she wrote. I ended up working at the World Trade Center with no high school diploma.
Right.
But
You know,
everybody here had degrees and all of these. They had all of this educational credentials
mhm,
that gave them the job. And I
mhm,
didn't work for any, I worked for the New York Mercantile Exchange at first. Then I worked for Payne Weber. Then I worked for a company called Refco. Then I worked for Dow International. And these was major firms back there.
mhm,
But I had the confidence to do the job. I didn't know what to do there. But when someone was going to show me, I learned it, repetition, and did it. But I had the confidence to say yes, even if I didn't know how to do it.
mm,
I had to, that's the thing. We see things that we don't know how to do, and I don't know how to do it, and we run from it. I didn't run from those things. So that's what got me to different jobs there. When someone came and said, hey, you want to come work for me? That's how I got the job for Payne Weber. He said, hey, I see you come to work every day. Oh, you want to come work apply for Payne Weber? I didn't even know this guy. Like, he saw me working. He just watched me and he offered me the job.
right.
And I had to be you had to interview 10 people. I already had the job, but they had to go through 10 interviews. And the major boss that made the decisions did not want to hire me. But it was the supervisor say, no, I want that guy.
All because of confidence.
The way I carried myself like I knew what I was doing.
Mm-hmm. I was smiling because I've heard this story several times, but it's nice to actually see you telling it. Yeah.
So, I think, if everyone has that quality, they have to overcome the fear of the unknown. I didn't know where their job was going to take me, but I knew it was paying more money, and that was the key. I'm going to get this money. Well, if they find out I don't know what I'm doing or I don't have a high school diploma, so be it. I went for it, and I kept the job. They did find out that I didn't have it, and I talked my way through that and still kept my job. So,
yeah, I think I think it really goes back to that fear of failure.
Right.
That fear of failure, because there was another student. She was ready to give up because, well, she wasn't so ready to give up, but she just kept saying to me that she's not sure if she would be able to become like a lead teacher because she's an assistant and she works under a lead teacher that's been doing it for over 20, 30 years. And she kept telling me, even when I get my training, I feel like I'm never going to be as good as her, and it's just that fear of failure. And I told her that, your lead teacher, she's had days where she's had bad days at times, and you might have bad days, but you don't want to give up, or you don't want to, keep telling yourself that you're not good enough. So yeah, it's just that fear of failure, I think, is something that we need to get past.
Right.
So another thing that he had mentioned was just acknowledging acknowledging what we do right, because sometimes it's so easy for us to point out the negative things that we do. We point out negative things that we do. And I liked how he said that he wrote himself a letter, and I think I'm going to do that and just write myself a letter talking about the things that I've accomplished. And why is it so hard for us to talk about things that we have accomplished? Why do you think that is?
Well, I think society has told us not to brag and boast on ourselves, but it's okay to talk about. If you're gonna tell everybody, someone else they did a good job, you should tell yourself you did a good job first. You should.
Yeah, I agree.
Yourself. You know, if you self-motivate, then there's no requirement. You won't need someone else to tell you because you know within yourself. When you hear it, it just be reinforcement for what you already know.
Right.
And people with negative or poor mentalities towards themselves tend to envy people with self-confidence. And what happens is the person who is exhibiting those self-confident behaviors tend to dumb themselves down for these people who have don't have self-confidence to try to fit in. But I'm saying don't try to fit in with them because then you're going to become like them. You try to stay right where you are, constantly telling yourself that you're good enough, that you're great, that you are the your best self at that moment in time. And always striving to be better, always telling yourself that, because eventually those type of people will move away from you anyway. You know, you want to always move forward and always talk to yourself with self-confidence.
So what are some things that you're proud of?
Oh, no, simply I'm just proud of the fact that I like knowledge.
Okay.
That I want to know more, that I want to see the unknown, that I want to take chances on being the best that I can be and take risk on being better and trying new things. You know, that's one of the things that I'm proud of, because through that, all the other stuff came, you know, the things that I teach people now, you know, I have children. I'm proud of those accomplishments. Those are big accomplishments. But without the willingness to want to be a father, I couldn't be a good father. You know, no one taught us how to be parents. No one sat us down and gave us a list of, hey, this is what you need to do. This is what you understand. We kind of,
you figured it out.
Yeah, you kind of, we learned as we went along. Yeah. If someone gave us a book and some lessons, I think we'd have been better off as parents if we just had some lessons. But I think the large majority of people don't know how to be good parents themselves. So how can they teach it? You know?
Yeah. I mean, when someone asks that question, I think even like in past interviews that I've had, and they ask you, what is your accomplishments, or what is your strengths? It's, sometimes it's hard for me to want to say those things, which I know I have many strengths,
right,
and I've accomplished a lot, but it's just hard for me to say it. And I think that's what we need to practice doing.
So what are your what do you think is a great accomplishment for yourself?
Well, I think I'm smart. I am organized. I'm a good educator. I'm a good mother. I'm a good fiance.
Okay.
I'm speaking all of that into all of it into existence. Yeah, and I'm proud that I purchased my first home. I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I worked hard in school. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of my kids finishing school.
Well,
So yeah,
one accomplishment, one great.
Oh gosh, one. You know what? I'm proud that I am open-minded. I feel like I'm an open-minded person. Like what you said about learning, wanting to keep learning, because I find some people who just feel like they know it all, and there's not really much for them to go. So I just feel like
no one likes a know-it-all.
Yeah.
If you think you know it all, you don't know anything. So
right. So but yeah, those are some things that I'm proud of.
Okay. All right. Well, I could say to me when I watch from outside looking in, a great accomplishment is the being a mother of a disabled child. That's a huge accomplishment. That's a lot of work, and doing it mostly by yourself. That's a lot to deal with. And to keep, be motivated and not be bitter about it, or it doesn't show that you have a disabled child. The when I met you, it didn't show on you. I've known people with disabled children, and they just, oh man, this is just a tough thing. They always complained about it. I wouldn't say complain. They just talked about how hard it was. They mentioned all of the hard things about it. But
well, thank you.
Yeah.
And I think my son Sammy, he makes it very easy.
Yeah, he's very. Sometimes when I look at him and I think about him, I wonder if we that can walk around and talk, and I've said this before, maybe we're disabled, because he always has a positive attitude. He's despite his disability, he's always got something good to say. He's always got a smile, and he's just so content with life.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't complain. He's when I look at him, I say, maybe I'm disabled. All the problems that might come, and he's just like, whatever,
Yeah. Well, I always think it could always be worse. Whatever situation you're in, it could always be worse. And he makes it very easy for me.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Like when you talk about higher consciousness, he is definitely coming from that perspective, that consciousness, the higher self. I've never heard him say a bad thing about anybody. Never really heard him. I mean, he's expressed not some sort of disappointment, but not like what you hear with the average person,
So yeah, I thought it was a good conversation. I didn't really have too much. I think I'm definitely gonna write that letter to myself, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should do it too. Maybe we could do it together.
Okay. I will do that along with a whole bunch of other stuff I need to write.
Okay.
All right. You said you wanted to talk about ancient civilizations. Which one did you want to talk about?
Well, if you want to pull it up.
Oh, I can pull it up. Which one?
I can choose one to talk about.
I already chose one, and it was on religion. So you want to do?
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about religion.
This is religion. And I think I talked about this one where
let me see. I'm gonna pull it up on my
all of the gods. Okay, let's look at 48.
Okay, hold on. 48.
Did I share this correctly? Let me see. Oh. Application. This one. All right.
Okay.
48.
Okay.
It says here, nearly all of the ancient gods of the old and new world were black and had woolly hair. Buckley says, from the woolly texture of the hair, I am inclined to assign to the Buddha of India. The Buddha has those tight little curls on the head.
Mm-hmm.
The actual Buddha statue is dark black. From a Buddha of India, the Fuhi of China, the Zaha of the Japanese, and the Quetzalcoatl, I can't pronounce, of the Mexicans, the same and indeed an African or rather a Nubian origin. In the Bible, God or the Ancient of Days is described as having hair like the pure wool. The earliest statues of the Virgin Mary and Christ in Europe, as far north as Russia, were black and negroid. And that's a fact, because there are pictures like in the Vatican, they have pictures of the dark skinned black, what we call today black. I don't like that word, but black and the black child in the Vatican in the lower chambers. So they basically changed everything to make you think it was a fair-skinned or white, what we call it, God. So
right.
And that's that's part of our lack of self-confidence, because we're looking at gods that don't look at like us.
Right.
When you got other cultures, what they did was took the ones we created and turned them into looking like them. You know, so because all of the religions were founded off of our ancestors' ancient religions. Bible. There was one, here it is, the number 49. It says the Bible really originated in ancient Egypt. Oh, huh? What? Where the population, according to Herodotus and Aristotle, was black. Here the Jews received almost all of their early culture. Professional breasted leading Egyptologist says, how do I? The moral development of mankind in the Nile Valley, which is 3,000 years older than that of the Hebrew formation of Hebrew literature. Our moral heritage, therefore, derives from a wider human past, enormously older than the Hebrews, and it has come to us rather through the Hebrews than from them. So it's shown that the Bible originated in a place where the people were black or dark. And I was just reading a congressional record. They were talking about the Moorish Empire are the original people of this land. That's they acknowledge that in the congressional records.
Yeah,
they acknowledge it. So they know who we are. The problem is we have trouble believing who we are as a people on the whole. I know who we are, but to tell hey, that stuff you've been programmed to believe is not true. See, through repetition, they got us to believe we were something that we are not. And
from children, from children. I mean, I remember as a child looking at Jesus as a white man as a child. So
yeah, and to try to tell someone, hey, it's not that, you're gonna get more arguments from people that look like you than it is you're gonna get from the fair skinned people, white folks.
Well, I think most people know that Jesus is not white.
Here's the thing. They know it, but they still see the image in their mind.
Right.
You see the thing? The image is the key. That's the key. Because the first thing you think about and you say the name Jesus, it's saying you're going to see that picture that you've been seeing all of your life.
Right.
You see? That's the thing that gets you. I'm trying to find this congressional record. I was just reading it the other day. Actually, one of the listeners sent it to me again. I've had it for a while. But if I don't find it, maybe I'll do a little show on it.
Okay. Did you want to do another one?
What? Another one? Another thing? Yeah. No, I think I made my point. You know, we gotta let people swallow that, because some people are in denial. They're still, oh no, it can't be. No, the truth of the matter, we've all been lied to on both sides of it, and we all been given a false perception of who's who. And once we come to terms with the truth, then that's where things will get better. Both sides have to come to reconciliation to the truth of everything that we've been dealing with. So.
Yeah, I noticed some of these names in this book are really hard to pronounce.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not English names for sure.
Right.
And that makes you wonder, how do we get names like, you don't see English names until you deal with the so-called apostles of Jesus.
Right.
All the other names in the Bible are, Hebrew or
Ezekiel.
or African nature,
Right.
except for those guys.
Right.
It tells you that they put that in the Bible,
Right. Right.
Yeah. But
that's
we
true.
we don't stop and think. We don't stop and think. Even the name Jesus is a lie.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the truth, because the letter J didn't exist 500 years ago.
Right.
So the letter G as well. So when we say God, what do we say?
Yeshua, right?
Yeah.
Yeshua.
So
okay.
yeah.
Well, was there anything that you wanted to mention about what you're doing?
Yeah, Saturday coming up, I'm doing the driver's license webinar 2. If y'all want to get on it, anybody that has not, corrected their driver's license, you need to be on that webinar. Now, if you are in my premium membership, you don't have to get on it. If you want to get on it, that's fine, because most of the stuff that I'm going to teach in that webinar, I've already taught it to the premium members. Like I told you, premium has benefit to them that I won't give out just regularly or outside of a webinar. So that's Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go to akimel.com and reserve your seat. You'll get the link to your access to the webinar day of the webinar, which would be around 9 a.m. in the morning.
Okay, I am gonna type that into this chat.
I just did it.
You did, okay.
Yeah, I did it. You can do it.
Okay, awesome. So that's Saturday, 11 a.m. webinar, akimel.com.
Driver's license correction or nationals. Get your driver's license so that you can look like a national instead of a U.S. citizen. That is this coming Saturday.
Okay, and I will be there listening.
Are limited, and about half of them are gone already. So just to let y'all know, seats are limited.
I'll be there listening too. And if you are, was there anything else?
No,
you're doing?
I'm trying to find this document.
Mm-hmm.
Someone sent it to me by email, and I got different emails. I'm trying to see if I can find it, because I really want people to see that. I want them to go research this. But I guess I'll have to look for it, and I'll do a show on it. But I appreciate the brother that sent it to me. I've had it before, this congressional record showing how they're saying the Moorish Empire was the originator from.
Did he send it by email?
Yeah, I just can't find it. What I did with it, I actually opened it up on my phone,
mm-hmm.
and was reading it yesterday.
Hmm.
Yeah, but
okay,
I can't.
Did he text it to you?
No, it was an email.
Email. Okay.
Email. Maybe you're right. Maybe he did. Email. Let me check my text messages. Maybe you're right, but
because I would like to see it.
I was hoping.
If you could find it.
No, it wasn't text. It was in an email. Because I got a bunch of maybe this is it. Maybe this is what I was looking for. Hang on. Nope, this isn't it. This is something else. So people send me stuff all the time. And it's different information.
Mm-hmm.
This was about political rights. But no, I can't. I'm trying to think who it was that sent it.
Well, keep looking for it. I'll talk about my homeschooling.
Go ahead.
If you are thinking about homeschooling and needing help with starting up, you can purchase my homeschooling webinar on my website, which is home-schoolguide.com. Or you can schedule a consultation with me over the phone. on the website. You have to go to the website and schedule the consultation. I think
Yeah,
Akeem
you have a
put.
lot of. Oh, let me show your website here. Hang on.
Okay, yeah, thank you. That way they could see where to go. I also create official high school diplomas as well as transcripts for any student who is homeschooling and graduating this year. And I'm also in the process of still completing my ebook on steps to homeschooling. So make sure you subscribe
to the mailing list, which is right there on that first page that I'm showing.
And once you subscribe, you'll get all updates and information on what I'm doing. So that's the website. It's home-schoolguide.com.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you, Akeem. I'm also working on starting up my Montessori parent-child classes, which I'm very excited about. Hopefully this summer.
This is all your stuff.
So,
And these are for people who are homeschooling and they need to.
Yeah.
A transcript and diploma to, like, if the child wants a job. These are all official. They're not made up. You have to send in, what you did, and she'll make them for you. So, well, you can explain that better than I can.
Yeah. Well, they're all official documents, custom high school diplomas, custom transcripts, and I also offer a package for both. And on the bottom where it says how to homeschool for nationals is a webinar that actually me and Akeem did together, and you can purchase that as well. I also offer an early childhood curriculum guide for preschoolers. Okay, thanks. Oh, did you find it?
Yeah, I found it. This is it.
Oh, okay.
I found it, and this is HR 0689.
And it was called what? Illinois.
It says right, the House resolution. This is Illinois General Assembly. This is in Illinois. This is on their records, and then you can see the bill status by clicking here. Right here. Filed. Session Sendai. Here. Now, and it says here, in this document, it says, whereas the indigenous Moorish peoples of the Americas are now, it says here, whereas the Moorish Americans, being aboriginal to the territories of North, Central, and South Americas, have formed a sovereign theocratic government guided by the command principles of love, truth, peace, and freedom. There it is. Right there. And they,
that's proof.
You can go here. I'll put this in the thing. Somebody's talking about schools in the chat. Listen what they're saying. Should private schools be done in tax-exempt church, not homeschool? Your church, your home could be a church. You can do a home church school because when I looked up the laws, there was like you tell them what type of homeschool you're doing. It could be a religious setup or a regular. I would do it as a church. That's what I would do. Anyway.
Yep.
There you have it.
Well, that was a good question.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want me to read off our shows that's on the platform?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we have several shows on Hindsight Radio. The Bun Bay Show is on Mondays at 7 p.m. The Truth Tuesday Show with Akeem L. At 7 p.m. It's the Solomon Temple Show on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. the Divine Connection show on Thursday with Tasia and Jessica at 7 p.m. And of course, my show, Raising an Independent Thinker, every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. And we are all a part of Hindsight Radio.
Right.
And also Akeem L. Jr., I'm sorry, every Saturday, Fridays or Saturdays at 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All right.
Okay,
I think this is a great show. It worked out. See?
Yeah. I like this, being able to look at you and
Right.
yeah, I think it'll be cool if we have guests on and we can actually see each other.
Yeah. That'll be nice.
All
Yeah,
right.
we can do that. There's things transform. Blog Talk is an old setup. And I think I'll still use it, but with this setup, when I do this, more people want to see me live than on Blog Talk. They want the more personal setup. So this is where we're heading.
Okay.
All right, we got to do our station. Hang on.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure, because last time I did this, I have to. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's not playing.
This is Hindsight Radio. I represent it. The information station changing the nation.
There's our button right there.
Okay, well, stay blessed, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the show, and I will.
I'll take us out.
Okay.
All right, peace, everybody.
Peace, everyone.